Okay, this is going to be a game played by my friend here, BountyBlue. He will be the red Terran in the lower left-hand corner, and in the top right-hand corner we have the blue Protoss, and this is actually an AI player set to the very hard difficulty. Let's bring up the units tab here. Okay, so everything is starting out pretty normally here, nothing too out of the ordinary. Let's see, it looks like BountyBlue has set one SCV to the first hotkey, which is a pretty good idea, so you can easily get to it to build stuff. Looks like he's going to be making a supply depot at his entrance. Good idea. The Protoss player has chosen to put his his pylon right next to his nexus, and that's an interesting choice. You forfeit having a tight wall in at your front door, but what you gain is the time spent for that probe to travel. So the probe has to travel only from here to here, and it can get back to mining much more quickly than for BountyBlue when he had to send his SCV all the way over there. So it may not seem like a huge deal, but actually it makes a fairly significant difference in terms of the economy, that travel distance and that mining time that you lose. Looks like BountyBlue is scouting fairly standard timing here. I guess the AI is choosing not to scout, getting its gateway down. Looks like that was on 13 or 14 supply. Also an assimilator. Pretty standard that assimilator is good to get about right now, so that when the cybernetic score pops, you'll have enough gas to start researching that warp gate technology. AI player is keeping pretty good about using the chrono boost on his nexus, just to get those probes out a little bit faster. Ooh, BountyBlue's doing a little harassment here, building a refinery on the AI player's gas, and wow, look at all those probes falling around that one SCV. It's actually a really bad idea, because let's see if we bring up the income tab here. Yeah, you can see BountyBlue's income is about double the AI players here, so this is actually a pretty big deal. Those probes, wow, they're following the SCV all the way out of the base. So that's a really bad idea. You never want to do that. Those should be going back to work right about now. You can even ignore this refinery for now. Just wait until you get your first zealot or stalker out of the gateway and use that to kill it. But yeah, this is actually quite bad. It looks like, there's about 7 probes here. Way too many. Alright. And, ooh, yeah, should have raised that supply depot there, not to let the probes into the base. Could have done, just used, lose the marine. That's really not good. Pretty bad micro there. Looks like he's going to lose a second marine here. Yeah, really should have raised that supply depot, not to let those probes in the base. Using all of his SCVs to kill that one probe. Not a good idea. You can use maybe just 2 or 3. That way you don't lose all that mining time. Again, sending a lot of SCVs over here to deal with these probes. Probably could have done with a couple less. Especially now that he's got that marine there. Driving those probes back finally. Did a pretty good job of getting those SCVs back to work, so that's pretty good. Looks like Protoss player is still chrono boosting his probes out, although, yeah, see, he's 20 to 14, so he's 6 harvesters ahead. Income, relatively even. Must have got a mule here, yeah. That's why the Terran player's ahead right now. Getting the second barracks, both refineries, means he's probably going to be getting some Marauders pretty soon. Queuing up 3 Marines at a time, that's not necessarily a good idea, just resources sitting there that you could be doing something with. Like, he could probably be maybe making another barracks right now, or an engineering bay, something like that. Going for a factory, alright. Let's check on the Protoss player. Let's see, got the... Oh no, he's not researching warp technology, that's a little weird. It looks like he's going for a robotics facility. So we should see some immortals, maybe. Let's see what he chooses to get here, maybe an observer. If it was a human player, I'd say maybe he was going for some drops, but they don't tend to do that. Okay, so the robotics bay means that he's going to be getting some Colossus out of this robotics facility, which are pretty good against the Marines. Yeah, they tend to work well against the barracks units. Terran player is about to be supply blocked here. which is not good. Yeah, already it's supply blocked actually. And not actually constructing any supply depots yet, so that's not a good idea. Don't know why that's happening. Alright, finally, getting a supply depot. Doing a pretty good job with those mules. Just about every time he's got 50 energy, using a mule to keep his income up. He could definitely use some more harvesters, though. It takes 3 harvesters to optimally mine a mineral patch or a gas. So it looks like he's got that going fine for the gas. But looks like he's only got, yeah, what's that, like 14 SCVs mining the minerals, when really 24 would be what you'd want. So he should really be producing more harvesters. Generally, there's no reason not to be producing harvesters at any point in the game, unless you get up to around 80, and that would be very late in the game. At that point, more harvesters is just going to take away from your army, and you don't want to, have a too weak an army because you have too many harvesters. But right now, there's no reason to not be building more. It looks like he built a command center inside his base. The reason Terran players do that is to actually protect that command center while it's building and not have it get taken out, and then they can safely float it over here to the expansion. Looks like the Protoss player is moving in with just Zealots right now for an attack, and if the Terran player has good micro, since these units they're ranged, he should be able to hold this off without any problem. Let's look at the army tab. Yeah, the Protoss player is a little bit ahead. Alright, yeah, getting the micro scoot and shoot going, that's pretty good, yeah. That attack is going to be repelled. He could actually chase this down if he wants to. Oh, there's a Colossus there, let's see. Actually, with that Colossus, if the Protoss player is careful, he might actually be able to take this. But now he's going to retreat back to his base where he's got, let's see, one more Stalker. I don't really like what the Protoss player is doing here. He's got a lot of resources sitting around. Really, he could have another gateway. I see, he went back to his ramp. It's always nice to defend at a ramp, get that choke point so the Terran army doesn't get this around. And that Colossus is pretty safe and it can do its splash damage on those Marines. So yeah, the Terran player is going to be forced to retreat back with his 3 Marauders right now. Yeah, as I was saying, really the Protoss player here could do with another gateway, just so that he wouldn't be sitting on all these idle resources. And let's see, looks like he's currently boosting this warp gate, which actually he needs to do so that he has more production because he doesn't have that 3rd gateway. And now he's looking to take his expansion a little bit after the Terran player. So yeah, his economy is going to be a little bit behind. This Terran player is making a planetary fortress here, which I don't really like because you have this fairly narrow choke point here, so really battles tend to happen right here. And if he had gotten an orbital command, then he'd be able to scan the Protoss player and also get those mules out to help his economy. And really, he does not have the saturation that he's looking for here. I guess he must have transferred his SCVs over here. So really, yes, he needs to keep training SCVs here, keep training SCVs here, which he's not doing, which would be a very good idea. Looks like he got his first weapons upgrade, building some more barracks. Oh, looks like he got a starport here, so we might see some Banshees. Or actually, more appropriately, he would get Vikings to deal with the Colossus. Also, I'd like to see a reactor here, so he could get 2 Vikings out at a time, and maybe some medevacs to just provide some reinforcement for this Marauder Marine army. The Protoss player should be producing more probes here in anticipation of this Nexus completing. And I'd like to see him transfer some probes. Yep. Don't want to transfer too many probes at once because, of course, they're not mining while they're transferring. You don't want to lose that mining time, so it's a good idea maybe transfer about the number that he did. It looks like it was 9. Let's see, good that he's building SCVs here, but okay, good, finally getting some more SCVs here. Looks like he may have been supply blocked for a minute there. Now fixing that. Now he's okay, getting a bunch of tech labs so he can keep producing Marines and Marauders here. I'd like to see a reactor perhaps on this barracks, so that he can get Marines out faster here. I like that he got the siege check for the siege tanks, and I like the placement of the siege tank right here so they can help defend any incoming attacks. And it looks like the Protoss player's moving out with an attack. It's good that he got these Immortals, because those will help deal with the Marauders. The Marauders are actually armored units, as you can see here, and the Immortals do 50 damage versus armored, so that will help. Needs to keep this Colossus safe. That's pretty good. I'd like to see some force fields, and way too many Guardian shields here. Some force fields to split this army in half would be good. It looks like the Protoss player actually did have enough. He should really get out of the range of the siege tank or else take it out, which looks like he's doing. Did manage to pretty much decimate the Terran army here, also taking out that siege tank. Needs to get this Colossus away from the Vikings. Looks like the Colossus, yes, gets taken out by the Vikings, and the Terran player doing a very good job. Immediately put his Vikings on the ground to help deal with these Immortals, and the Immortals are trying to focus down this planetary fortress. Not looking like it's going to happen for the Protoss player here. Streaming in some more reinforcements, but I think the Terran player... okay, no, the Protoss player is actually retreating here. Let's see, it's got a siege tank down here. Alright, so those destructible rocks offer a back entrance into the main base, so it's pretty good that he decided to put a siege tank back there just to spot out any sort of backdoor attacks, which the AI actually does do sometimes. Looks like the saturation's pretty good at this base, also pretty good here at this base, so the Protoss player's on top of his harvester count. Looks like he's got 48 over 38 right now. 48 is a pretty good number when you're at two bases. Ideally, maybe 60 would be what you'd want. Income, looks like the Protoss player is a ways ahead of the Terran player, but with these mules, makes the Terran a little bit more powerful in terms of the economy. Although, like I said, I would like to see an orbital command here so we could get some more mules instead of just having the one. Looks like he could do a... Let's see what the Protoss, or the Terran player is seeing right now. Alright, looks like he has not scouted out this expansion. Not scouted out really any of the tech here. Alright, good. Right now he's doing a scan, spots the robotics facility and the robotics bay. I would like to see him scan or send something in to check out that expansion. But yeah, he was sitting on some idle energy here at this orbital command, so it's good that he actually used that scan finally. Maybe not the best place to keep the army. I'd like to see it kept right about here to defend that expansion, because the Terran player could sneak in an army to attack this expansion if the Protoss player isn't careful. And it looks like the Protoss player is expanding again up here at the top 12 o'clock position, which is a pretty good idea at this point in the game, because he's got this base fully saturated, and it looks like, actually still, I'd like to see some more production facilities. Good that he's getting a robotics facility, but really maybe 2, even 3 more gateways would be good. Odd place for a scan. Let's see what he spotted out here. Alright, good that he spotted out that army. That was pretty lucky, but still, does not know that expansion is there. Players that have good game sense can probably figure out that, yes, he probably has an expansion by now. Spotted that probe, so he might know that that expansion is there or soon to be there. So yeah, he probably figures out, just judging by this army size, that this expansion is here without actually seeing it. 1 photon cannon to defend there. This army is looking kind of scary right now. Some Vikings to deal with any possible Colossi, although it looks like the Protoss player has chosen to move away from Colossi right now, so the Vikings, actually not the best idea. He can land them, but his money would be better spent on Marines and Marauders, maybe some more siege tanks, actually. I don't know why he hasn't gone up to attack this expansion. He probably... he saw that probe, so he should have really done that. Maybe he's moving back right now to take that. I don't know. Seeing this probe transfer, actually catching a couple of those probes out in the open, taking it looks like 3 so far. And the Protoss player really needs to take these probes back, because you don't want to lose probes under any circumstance. Sacrificed about 5 right there. Alright, looks like a big battle coming right now. Again, I'd like to see some force fields to split up this army, split it in half so you only have to deal with 1 half at a time. Sending those probes right through the army. Don't know why he's doing that. Trying to get a flank here on these siege tanks. Not successful in taking these out. Should maybe micro these Immortals onto the siege tanks to take those out. Vikings just floating around here, finally landing one of them. Letting the rest to get the surround on those Immortals. Terran player is doing a very good job here. I don't know why these probes, they should have just remained back here for the moment. I don't know why. It's good that he snuck some through, but if the Terran player was a little more on top of his micro, he could have taken out all those probes. yeah, these medevacs are doing a good job of reinforcing this, and Terran players on top of his macro got another good amount of units coming. Observers sitting here spotting out nothing actually. Let's see, the Protoss player is actually sending his units in piecemeal right now. I think he would be better off just sacrificing this expansion and massing his units here and waiting until the Terran player comes up and attacks him. That way he'd have the choke point to help him defend. But no, he's not doing that. He's got a lot of warp prisms floating around. Those are pretty much just wasted because he has no units to put in them. Again, bringing these probes, don't know why he's doing that. And as we can see, the income is dropping massively for the Protoss player as he is losing all his probes, lost this expansion. Very few minerals here, not that he's mining them anyway, so really he's got one mining base right now to the Terran player's two mining bases. Actually, maybe more like 1.25, because it's mostly mined out down here. And let's see. Yeah, so the Terran player is pretty much wreaking havoc on the Protoss player's base. He's trying to rebuild this expansion here, although there's not a whole lot he can do because he's lost all his gateways. This is unpowered. He's got this not even being produced out of. So I think it's about time for the Protoss player to GG here. I guess he has some hope that he's still mining here. But really I'd like to see him rebuild his production facilities over here if he wanted to have any hope of staying in this game. But really, I don't see how he can win this right now. As the Terran player is still going strong. Got another pretty much whole army down here. Yeah, the supply count, let's see, it's 134 to 30. So that is a 100 supply lead for the Terran player. And the Terran player is still increasing and the Protoss player is still dwindling. So basically the Terran player has won this game. And the Protoss player needs to GG right now. Don't know why he hasn't yet, but the game is basically over. Still got a couple observers running around doing nothing. Maybe he's looking to take this expansion. He does have enough minerals. Oh no, there's destructible rocks preventing him from doing that. Don't know, I guess he's trying to get some probes over here. Terran player spots out this expansion. That was kind of a wasted scan because his army was right there. He really should scan up here, which he is doing as well, which means he was not quite on top of the orbital command and using those that energy there. But whatever. Might have been nice to see the Terran player try and take an expansion while he was fighting this battle, but he probably realized that he was going to win anyway and decided not to. Really, let's see, he's got a 159 supply army versus the Protoss' 24, and that is entirely in probes. Looks like he's getting out even a Banshee right now. And the Marines are upgraded. I think they have stim. Let's see. Yes, they have stim, they have combat shields. Marauders have Marauder slow right now. That's a lot of siege tanks. Those need to get into siege mode. Well, actually, not that it matters. And the Protoss player GG's. So this game's over, and the end. This was Epi. Hope you enjoyed the cast.